This will be the architectural feature video number 12. This is the balcony. Besides this is the other balcony. They are very near between each other. I mean, these houses are quite near. You have lots of plants to block the site. We just wanted to show, before starting this video, the literal nearness of two balconies. I had been in that balcony years ago and haven't seen anything that is rare. But the fact is, at this point, it's absolutely non-negotiable to assume there is another dropping point either here. It's the only place it can be. And also you need, as it was explained before, a toxic gasing control panel somewhere nearby, because evidently the progenitors are not the one controlling the toxic gas panel. They can be in the house totally normal while the toxic gasing is happening. Someone is controlling the release of these toxic gases, and the most probable place to happen is here. Yeah, you can use the internet to control remotely valves, but would you do that knowing that United States government is quite capable of hacking your own devices and toxic gas you? I don't think they will risk themselves to be exposed to that. So, the architectural feature number 12 is very, very gruesome, but it must be explained. I already explained it earlier. I can demonstrate fully that a dropping point, a discharge pipe like the one that was here, must also be present in the neighbor's house. This is very important to be understood, and it will be explained now because it is a connection with Nazism. And it's sad because, well, the history lessons keep repeating themselves, and there is a very consistent historical lesson in history, that is that those who are most colonized become the most colonizers. So the most colonized in Puerto Rico by USA will become eventually the most colonizers via tactics that had not been seen since Nazism. I mean, these toxic gas use haven't been seen since Nazism and haven't been normalized as this since Nazism. Well, they use a lot of different toxic gases, right? It's not only one. But there is one in particular that they always, when they use it, they haven't used it from a very long time, but when they use it, it causes a very short span of arrhythmia, very intense arrhythmia. When it has been measured, I did not measure when it happened in my birthday on the midnight, but when it happened, it was not measured by the Apple Watch, because right now I'm not using the Apple Watch. But when I have measured with the Apple Watch, when that happens, my heart rises to 210 per minute BPM. That is a consistent upper amount of BPMs. The problem is, if you check out all the symptoms and correlate what can cause this, especially the fact that it's always a very short span, except very concrete occasions, it happens. That concrete toxic gas they use this time and every time they have caused that specific symptom, the arrhythmia, the sudden arrhythmia, well, that toxic gas in particular is very well known. If you put the symptoms in ChatGPT and correlate everything, the toxic gas compatible with that is cyanide. Cyanide cells, supposed to be more concrete. And that was the very same thing. It was used by Nazis to kill Jews. So, in order to be able to use cyanide gas to create cyanide in a gas chamber like the ones that are in this zone of the house underground, you need cyanide cells. Where you're getting them, no idea. Where they are getting them. You need a very dry pipe because they must go down through the pipe totally dry, and the proper additions to the mix to mix the salts. The fact is, in order to use cyanide salts, it must be done immediately before the gas release because it evaporates very quickly. That means, and this is the gruesome part, because I have absolutely recorded, that at 8 p.m. of September 5, this was still open. And it was wet inside. That means whatever point, the discharge point they used to release those salts to the chamber system, to the toxic gas chamber system, it was not from there. And well, if they were doing it from there, I would have heard them from my room. Nothing but here. So that by itself, that very concrete symptom, feeling it on the midnight of September 5 to 6, well, that by itself is a toxic gas symptom that can only be caused knowing there is cyanide by someone throwing them from another discharge point that must be there. Because I have been there many times. I don't have access there already, but I have been in this zone many times. They don't have a discharge point there. But even if they would, please notice how difficult it will be from dropping something from there to this zone. And this is the zone where the toxic gas chambers are, no questions about it. These columns are very evidently distributing weight for something on the ground. So, this is the proof that there is another discharge point in this house. And if there is somewhere another place in which the controls will be 24 hours, the toxic gas remote control panel, it must be there. I have been in that house before. The house belongs, as far as I know, it is rented, belongs to the daughter, the prima, cousin, it's like sobrina, thank you. It's the sobrina of the handyman of the house, of the neighbor that constantly does all the reparations here. When this house needs a reparation, they don't call a professional. They have a neighbor that does all kind of fixes. Well, that house belongs to the niece. Is niece the word? Sobrina. Of that neighbor that is already known that is collaborating here. And the fact is, there is no other way, considering gravity and circumstances, where someone could be dropping another charge of toxic gassing system that is not from there. This neighbor does constant gaslighting. This very morning, exactly as I went out to the dogs, he went out. Someone got out from the house. At 5 morning, a Sunday, that is not normal. Well, because cyanide must be released immediately before, and I can confirm no one was there, it must be seen. The other dropping point must be there. Must be there. And the parallelism with Nazism is absolutely brutal. This was the very same method they used to exterminate Jews. Toxic gas systematic system. Yes, they killed them outright. But it's not less healing to use toxic gas to depersonalize systematically. What is understood in the Jews case as a mass extermination site, well, this is a mass personhood extermination side. They want to let me alive just to be controlled, to be tortured, to let me suffer. Suffering that is caused deliberately, because they enjoy cause suffering. This is the deep warning here. This house has children. And that is a very gruesome warning because, well, let's say that I just discovered it yesterday that you can request bomberos an inspection of hazardous materials, and they will do it. They can do it without a court order. Just seeing these videos, if I send them to them, they don't even need a court order to inspect all these issues I am pointing out. The fact is, as soon as bomberos get here, if they come, because I have talked with the Departamento de la Familia, Procuradora de la Mujer, I have requested every office possible to act. No one forced the progenitors to receive psychiatric emergency care, nor psychiatric emergency evaluation. That must have been done by the Departamento de la Familia. No one had done anything about the toxic gassing system. The police didn't come to investigate because they assume I am the one having problems, when actually it's the progenitors who are very good covering their criminal acts. I mean, they are narcissistic, they have Munchausen, they have sociopathy, they have functional psychosis. And this can be consistently observed. In the case of the progenitor female, she also has borderline schizoaffective disorder or borderline disorder. I am not the psychiatrist to diagnose that. I just can assure that she has very cyclical mood swings. This was not even here 2 days ago. They put it there just as a social gaslighting because orange is the color I use for flaming Holy Spirit. They put it after I contaminate all their water tanks with Clorox, so they could not keep using that water for doing their mixes. Well, no one have done nothing, but let's say I send bomberos these videos. Let's say I try once more to someone do something, because not even my own relatives, when I told them they are using carbon monoxide on purpose to intoxicate me, to cause me neurological damage, they didn't believe me, even if I showed them the photo with the cometer showing positive. And this was a photo that, well, it was not even the highest they used it, and they have deleted lots of videos and photos from my own iPhone. They are quite aware of what I'm doing with the iPhone. Well, the fact is, let's assume that bomberos comes here to inspect. Well, this is a whole operation issue. Because first of all, the last time I tried to go to a tribunal to request a protection order from my progenitors, their retaliation was send me again to another fake, totally fabricated by them, forced hospitalization. They fabricated they lied over and over again, and I was not even allowed to say the truth. I automatically explained to the doctors at these hospitals, they are the one doing this. They are the one committing the abuse. They assume I am the one psychotic and paranoid. No, it's them. And I have already shown so many evidences of something being really wrong here, so wrong. But let's assume I send this to the bomberos. Well, they will have a huge retaliation. I will need to have somewhere to go with the dogs. And the mere fact of bomberos coming here, well, if there is another dropping point here, and it can be confirmed already with what I just explained, well, they can retaliate too and cause a huge implosion here just because I call bomberos. They can cause a huge explosion here at any moment. It's just throwing the right mixes. Imagine a child of them become hurt just because bomberos come here to inspect. The fact is that both houses, for the security of the minors and my security, must be inspected together. Probably cutting the water of the whole street before, but they have cisternas if they need water to do their mixes. But the safest scenario is to put the water, the tap water of the street. It's not easy to simply send this to bomberos and see what happens, because here many things can happen, many. The most gruesome scenario will be them causing an explosion deliberately. And they knew this would happen because they had been leaving water taps, bottles around, and they covered this zone with no use because they never are there. They knew someone would be wanting to excavate there. They knew this so well. Voy a la pelotita. They knew this so well. I will show a very gruesome detail here. The progenitors knew someone will be coming to inspect this. The fact that they closed that pipe is already a sign that they know how illegal is this. But I just want to show you very explicitly what the progenitors left besides a glass square that I already explained what they mean. A cat litter. Just to let you know, they poisoned the cat. They killed the cat. And guess who was the one who likes glass squares because she likes white? Me. They also moved the crown that is here right now, that I put there, and they left there right now. They put that crown that they themselves gave me at the birthday. They left it in this plate. That is a miam miam plate. This is a social abortion place. They are saying we are going to social abortion you. And the other sign is we are going to kill you straightforward, as we kill the cat poison. I don't fear death. I am already a martyr of charity. But I just let you know, something like telling the bomberos to come here, in the case of the progenitors and how this is working, is already a whole operation issues. Because the government is not recognizing this. I have tried to get help through so many pathways, and they keep denying everything. Everyone keeps denying everything. But the fact is, bomberos can't come here without a court order. After seeing all these videos. But if they do come, there will be retaliation from my progenitors. I don't think they will even allow me to explain bomberos all that I am explaining in this video. They will simply say, shut off, cállate, and go to your room. You are a mentally ill person. We are going to the tribunal. We are going to get another court to shut you off, para callarte la boca, as they have done all these years. Especially every time when I went to the FBI, that was when they began to make one court order of forces of sterilization after other. This is very consistent. Every time I try to denounce, every time I ask toxicological test, they retaliate. But this time, it must be considered. Whatever retaliation can happen, there are children in that house. And it's not only my dogs, it's not only me, that we are already charity martyrs. We have minor age here. And I have heard them scream to their children in an abusive psychological way. Talking them like dogs. If they have a daughter, yes, they have done it. So, this is not only an operation to the bomberos and to get me out of here to somewhere with the dogs. It's also an operation to assess the psychological children's abuse of the neighbors' children. And that is not easy at all. We just let you know that. But this is sadly how history keeps teaching. those who are most dominated, those who are most colonizers, eventually will become more colonizers, more colonizers than the ones who colonized them. And well, in this case, they learned it from Nazi tactics quite explicitly. Vamos, perdida. Venga, perdida. We are going to let you see just before finishing this video. That is the last one. This is the sunrise of Sunday, Day of the Lord. Look at the depth of that glasses there. It's not an ordinary. You see this depth? It's quite normal. Look at the depth of those walls. It's way bigger, way bigger. And they may disappear this from sight, these glasses. We explained it, and we waited until now to explain this detail visually, but we already explained it. The glass squares can also be used besides condensation control to change the perspective about the thickness of these walls. The matter is, the fact is, this wall is way too thick. This wall. Look at that. Look at that diameter. Look at it. There is another one. Look at this diameter. The wall is even wider upwards. Wider than that. That means they have lots of toxic gassing tubes coming up here. Remember, these are quite of normal wide, but look at there. They are way more wider, they're more thick. Vamos, perdida. Up. Venga, Mini. And they knew I would realize this because they already played with the glass squares. As you already saw, that glass square left besides the cat litter is social gaslighting too. You're narcissistic. They need to boast their power abuse. We are just going to let you see here the already very deep wide wall. Oh, look at this wide already here. Is this by itself is greater than the length of the wide of the glass squares you see downstairs. Give me a minute, please. Yes, I need to close the door because it's the only way you can keep the progenitors at bay. For the dog's safety. You saw that wide in the glass square, right? Look at now this wide. How different it is. And guess what? They put here a concrete wall that is quite decorative. Just to conceal this wall when it goes through that zone is thicker, way thicker. You can see that glass square being quite normal wide there. But then you come here. This mere part is already way wider than the part of you saw downstairs, but the other part that is outside is clearly even wider, the double than this. So this wall is way more thick than you will think. They covered the glasses squares here. And the detail is important because since the very beginning of me living at this house, since age 4, they quite fast moved me to this room. They absolutely planned me being in this room. And this is the most capable room of enforcing toxic gases covertly. This wall here proves it. This wall here proves also, whatever is down there, you need lots of space to go tubes through here. We simply pray humbly for do the best we can do and act according not only to the law and order, but for the common good of all, and becoming the best persons we can be. The fact is, God doesn't consent these kinds of regimes being enforced upon children, vulnerable, or anyone else. In the first place, I have been saved from him. I have been saved by him from my progenitors. By this Jesus charity that is a God love that makes all things anew. An outpouring of charity that keep allowing that everyone can become the best person we can be. The family of heaven we are called to be. If it wouldn't be thanks to my faith and the grace he gives me, I wouldn't be even here. You know, among us, grace is known as the rain. Unconditional outpouring of grace is rain. Well, they use water rain to toxic gas me. I had no idea while I grew up they would be doing something like that. Nor I had any idea while I grew up of all this house of tortures being designed to implement toxic gassing, but here we are, telling the truth in the humblest way possible and in the most clear way possible, just to let everyone see. He is the God who sees, He's the God who loves, He's the God who saves. I don't know yet if I am going to send this to the bomberos because, well, many things can happen and I need to be sure these children will have the opportunity to grow up. So we are going to pray still what to do, but well, we already prayed to do all these videos as a living testimony of what is and nevermore. Because videos are being deleted from my iPhone, I just did new videos to recopilate all that can be lost through the years, just to let's see what is right now totally visible for everyone to see. May everyone know this nevermore as something that can't be repeated. Exactly as happened with the Jews, brothers and sisters that are Jews. They're never again can't be repeated either. The Holocaust is a never again. This personhood Holocaust is also a nevermore. This building of Unbeing architectures, of Unbeing Houses, and these mass personhood extermination sites can't be allowed to be built, and never again, nevermore. Jesus' charity make our hearts strong and give us the grace to do what you want to be done, so we can all grow as the best people we can be. The best the brothers and sisters we can be. The best family of heaven we can be. The best loveful harvest we can be. This is the end of video 12. Is the last video. Thank you for your patience seeing all these videos. Jesus' charity, we adore you with the whole world.